Hey everybody, welcome to our channel where we dive deep into the New Testament, line by line, and we take it in little bite-sized chunks with just a few questions in a few minutes, and we ask very pointed questions of the Bible and the New Testament specifically to find out exactly what the Gospels say, to find out if there's any spiritual takeaways, and to really ask questions, because I believe the infinite God gave us the mind and the critical thinking to dive deep into this subject so that we may find answers for ourselves and not just simply trust scribes of almost 2,000 years ago. And if that appeals to you, then you're in the right spot. And right now we're in Matthew chapter 5, verse 27. And this is where Jesus is continuing to talk to his disciples and where he was on the mount. And Jesus says, "You've heard it said that thou shalt not commit adultery." And Jesus goes a little further and says that, and I'm reading here from my notes, which I take extensively. And he goes further in saying that if you look on another with any desire, then you also commit adultery in your heart. That's a tough one, because especially young men full of testosterone, it's a difficult thing not to look at a woman and go, "Oh wow, that's nice. Well, I sure would like to go see if I can date her, court her a little bit." That's a difficult thing, and most young men do not have the guidance or put on the path of enlightenment to be able to overcome such things, and almost nobody does, especially at a young age, or some at any age. So the question is, for something is unactionable, like you don't take any action other than some thoughts in your mind, Jesus would have you sent to Gehenna. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but in many of the other translations, it's translated into hell. But it's actually a toxic waste dump where everybody takes their trash right outside of Jerusalem, and if you spend any time there, you would get sick and very likely die. So Jesus says you're going to go to this place. If you look at another person, another human being with some type of desire, even for a split second, you're going off of this toxic waste dump. So does that sound just at all? I mean, single people, even married people, can look at somebody else and go, "Oh man, that's really attractive." I don't know. I find that one tough to swallow, because even in the Bible, there's not true guidance on how to overcome your thoughts, other than to be totally subservient to just say, "Oh, please, Jesus," with no other guidance to how to do that. It's kind of confusing to me personally. But in Matthew chapter 5, that's where we are. Hope I didn't say Genesis a minute ago. Matthew chapter 5, verse 29 and 30. "If your eye causes you to stumble, then cut it out. If your right hand does the same, causes you to stumble, then cut it off." It says it's better that that your whole body, parts of your body get cut off, than your whole body being sent to this toxic waste dump, which is translated a bunch of other Bibles as hell. So self-mutilation is better than looking at another attractive person with some type of desire in your heart, even though you take no action upon it. That, to me, I instantly thought, boy, that sure does explain the reasoning behind a lot of the Abrahamic religions, and for a long time Christianity, for women to cover themselves up. It's interesting. So chapter 5, verses 31 and 32, "If a man divorces a woman and someone else marries her, then he commits adultery." Then the guy taking on the divorced wife, he also commits adultery, or they both do it together, even though they get married. That was real confusing to me, because that just says that if a woman is divorced, from that point forward, she does not have the right to redeem herself. She's doomed to that. She cannot better herself. She cannot start doesn't say that she was bad, but if she was, a drunkard or a slut or whatever, she can't be redeemed by another person or another man and get into a wonderful, healthy, beautiful relationship, because that would be adultery. Well, I'd like somebody to explain that to me, preferably not an apologist, because that one's a tough one to swallow. And to go on in chapter 5, verses 34, says, we've all heard Jesus says, don't swear falsely against someone. Don't commit a lie against your neighbor. But he goes a little bit further in this and says, don't swear at all. And this doesn't necessarily mean curse words. It means swearing, like swearing against heaven, swearing against the name of God, swearing on your flesh, so something like that. And then it goes on to say, don't even swear against Jerusalem because it has a great king. Well, that's very time specific. I would assume that you could question what is happening in that government from back then all the way until now, especially now, especially for all the atrocities and deadly aggressions throughout not only the Bible, but all the way up until the present time. So you can't do that, according to Jesus. That's a no-no. So does that say, I just read this and I think, boy, this was written by scribes that really wanted people to be subservient to the rulers. Jerusalem has a great king. Oh, don't say anything bad about the king. And if they're referring to King David, well, we all know that King David was no great guy according to his actions. So there you have it with that. If you really enjoy the things, the mental abilities that the Creator, God, the source of all things, gave us, and that are right in front of our face to easily see, then join us on Mystics of Texas, our other channel, and join us at mysticsoftexas.com. If you're in the local area, come out and see us. It's a fantastic group where we have wonderful fellowship. We help each other live a healthy, sober life of just working and striving the best we can to be good people and to meditate, send good vibes out to everyone in need, and to help ourselves by praying and meditating and worshiping in our individual ways, and doing a whole myriad of other things out here that are fantastic to showcase Mother Nature's blueprint and to get in tune with the vibrations of the earth. And it's just a fantastic thing. And if that appeals to you, then come out and see us. And we are continuing on with Jesus talking to the disciples in the next video. So we'll see you then.